Good morning, good afternoon, happy December 16th. Allison, how you doing?
I'm good. It's cold here in Michigan, but I'm doing good.
Starting to get a little chilly here too. I was up bright and early walking to the gym and yeah, once it gets like less than 40 degrees, I think it's just cold.
It's
But
45. It was 45 degrees here today, and it feels like spring.
yeah.
Anyone in the Midwest or in Michigan right now is like, it is spring today.
Yeah. And listen, hey, this means that we're getting to the time of the year where, I know in the beauty industry, you guys have been like like in the salon focused on making it just Christmassy for the last couple months, right? What's the rule on that?
Yeah, we typically decorate like November 1st or shortly after. That's kind of like rule of thumb with retail
Yeah.
is to get your space feeling Christmassy November 1st. I don't let the Christmas music start until closer to Christmas. I do think it's important to like have the Christmas vibes in the salon, but it can be overkill when you start the Christmas music so early. But we definitely decorate, we make it look wintry and obviously remind people that it's the time of gift giving. Everything's very like makes it excited for you to purchase for people. We have like our gift ideas for people and things like that, and our gift sets, our tree, and all that good stuff. So yeah, November 1st, and then we take it on pretty quickly after the holiday.
Yeah. And that's one of those things that, and that's why it's so imperative that we structure our careers properly, that we get ahead of the game, and that we're very intentional about like scheduling out your promos in the future. Because there's so many missed opportunities if you don't schedule things out or you don't take advantage of the holiday season as everyone's out there searching for gifts. They're coming into your salon, into your suite to get their hair done to prepare for the holiday. Why not take advantage and give them a deal, do some package options, and get people to check some things off their list where you make more money too? And if you say, I'll do it next year, how many times are you going to say that before you just never do it? And that's so much money that you're leaving on the table.
Yeah, so many people right now that is in my salon is really taking advantage of creating content around gift giving and
Mhm.
reminding people gift ideas to do for like the harder people in life, like, your mother-in-law or your husband or your dad or just whoever, your brother's girlfriend, like all these different gift ideas that we have for people. And the cool thing is, like, as long as you sort of know somebody's hair type, if you can ask your hairdresser what you should get them, it's pretty easy to shop for someone if you know their hair type or, it's winter, everyone's hair's dry. So there's so many amazing gift ideas that you can get people in a salon or a spa, hair or skin related. And you have that professional opinion too. So you're not just going to, like a store, Target or something, and grabbing stuff off the shelf that they may or may not like. You're getting something that they really will use. Like they will love it. Not one single person doesn't want luxury hair care.
Yeah. And most people that don't use it don't know what they're missing out on. So when you do that, because everybody does need shampoo for the most part, conditioner, what have you, and being able to introduce them to something new is just a game changer. Makes you look good, and it's good for everybody. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's a necessity. Why not take
Yeah, and
advantage?
a lot of people won't blow that money on themselves. Like they're like, what do I need a $60 shampoo for? Or what do I need a $50 shampoo for? And so once somebody else gets it for them, they can enjoy something that they wouldn't have gotten for themselves. And honestly, chances are they'll probably be hooked.
Yeah. It's always like when you try something. I remember mom would always get like something new for me. And I'd be like, oh wow, like I love how this feels, or like a new texturizing, whatever for my hair. And and yeah, it's just always like, oh, I wish I would have had this sooner. Then you get addicted to anything. It smells good,
Yeah.
especially with the products that you guys carry. So yeah, that's like one of those huge things. It's like, and that's what we're talking about today as we talk about like elevating your career as a beauty pro. It's like these things that aren't second nature. And if you started a salon recently, or you've had your salon and you haven't had any coaching or any marketing background, you're not going to know these things. And if you do, you maybe know an inch, but we got to take you to the mile, because there's so many opportunities that you can do to really elevate your career as a beauty pro. But if you're not taking steps prior and scheduling out your life and taking advantage of social media and just be in the know about these things, then you'll never get to see what maximizing your career really looks like. And once you do align with your North Stars, we'll talk about the foundation of success here in a second. But as you do that and you see how much better life can be because you're operating most efficiently and you're getting more things done and you're making more money and you're making a more positive impact on the people around you, and then they're doing it, it creates this ripple effect. And then once you do that, it shapes you into a new shape that if you ever try going back in your old life, you don't fit anymore. It's totally different. And then it gets to a point where it's so second nature that you think everybody knows this, but most people don't know this because they've never been forced to know or even knew to grab a coach that was going to help open their minds to that. And that's why I'm really excited to talk about this today, alignment and how to elevate your career as a beauty pro.
Yeah, there's been so much growth in my career in the last 10 years for sure. I've been in the industry for over 18 years now as a
Damn.
licensed. I know, like what? First of all, how am I old? How is that possible? How am I old enough for any of this? I can't believe I've been doing anything for 18 years.
Yeah, but it's so
I'm
great to
18.
be. Yeah, I know, right? But it's what's so interesting is that when you just start out, you want the experience because you want to prove to people that you can do a great job. But once you have more to back it up, then you have more proof and it's easier to get clients. But we want that. And now we're finally at the point where we've been in the game 20 years and it's like,
Yeah.
wait, how? I feel like I'm just beginning. But go ahead, sorry.
Ever since I was 2 years in, I've been saying I was like, about 5 years. Like people would be like, "How long have you been doing hair?" And I'm like, I think it's like 5 years now." And then like the fifth year rolled around, and I'm like, "I think it's like 6 years now." I started counting beauty school, and then I started counting my entire life because I pretty much grew up in mom's salons. So I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
you're like, I was interning
I
since
have
I
been
was
in beauty
6.
school since I was an infant. But it's funny because I don't have to like after I hit 6 years, I didn't have to lie about how long I had been in the industry for. Not that I like was, lying to people left and right, but you get those clients who are like, "How long have you been doing hair?" And if it's only been a year, like listen, I've been doing hair for 3 years, okay? Leave me alone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why are you here? So, but yeah, I mean, I think that that's just something that hairstylists that are new in the industry go through. But then once you get all the experience, now I'm kind of like, I kind of want to lie and go backwards. Like, I've been doing hair for 18 years, but I'm like, 10? I think 10. I've been doing hair seriously for 10 years. The
Yeah.
first the first handful of years was really just doing hair and going home. I had really no plan for success. I mean, like seriously, I was making no money at my first salon. I remember that my insurance came out of my check, and the check that I was getting after insurance was already taken out was so slim. I would have never been able to pay for a place to live, like a car, not even like forget raising a family on that income. Like I was making no money. And I was in a huge salon with 18 stylists. Of course, this is also in 2009, or actually 2007, but I was making no money. And then as time went on, I just kind of grew a clientele. I didn't have social media working against me in that time where I was like, competing against other people. Thankfully, social media came around later and I love it and I use it to my, best advantage. But back then, I don't know if I was right in that. I don't know if I would have been able to handle that at that time. Just mentally as an 18-year-old, like fresh in the industry, probably would have, I don't know, not grown in the same way that I did later on. But you get clients based off word of mouth and things like that when you don't have social media. And eventually I just got busy and I still was just doing hair and going home. Even when we opened our salon, I was just, I wouldn't say I was a hobby hairstylist. We call, a hobby hairstylist, somebody who's doing hair for fun and giving out discounts left and right. Wouldn't say that was me, but I definitely have no idea how much I was making or how much I wanted to make or how much I could potentially make. I had no idea. And then once we started growing our team, I really got serious about the numbers. And the last 10 years has been so much growth personally and professionally and our business as a whole. And then even more in the last, 6 years. And then the most growth that I think I've had my entire career has just happened in the last 3 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really interesting to watch, and yeah, as you were doing that, and then as we were building things separately at Mastermind Media, and I love how like our worlds collided after each of us growing like a separate way, and then bridging the gap to then create Mastermind Beauty. And that's what I think, in this digital age, why it was so important for us to create this company, and now reveal the way to everyone that is kind of coming up in the game, because there's so many ways that we can help people, whether it's one-on-one consulting, whether it's being part of our BeautyMynd membership, whether it's live events, which we're starting to stack our schedule next year. And it just because this message is so important, and it's not a one size fits all. It's really the way about it just makes sense, but you have to cater it towards you. And so what that typically looks like when you start is, depending on where you are in your life, what era of your life you are in, it's really defining what that success is for you, and why do you want that style of success. And whether that's a house and raising a family, whether that's starting your salon and growing it, etc. You really have to define what success is for you first. And then once you're able to do that and you understand why you want to do it, then things get a lot clearer. And from there, what we recommend is finding a north star. So finding someone in the beauty industry that has the career that you aspire to have. Because once you have a north star and you've defined what success means to you, then you have the steps. You have to find the steps to get to the place where the person that you admire wants, where they are. So you can speak to that person, or you can look up their story, or you can see the steps that they took. And obviously with social media, it's amazing because so much of this is on the internet. So a lot of it is there for the taking, and maybe you find a few different North Stars. I know when I just discovered what I wanted and I found my North Stars, it was like a culmination of a few different people became one. And so I did all of this research to see what they did to get there. And then I took similar steps along the way. And the cool thing about life that some might see as a disadvantage is that as you're going towards this North Star, your North Star could change because you might change. If it's just getting difficult and you don't want to do the hard work, that is not a reason for change, unless a change of the game plan. The change of the game plan can of course, is always a part of the strategy. But if your North Star is changing because it's just hard and I don't want to do this anymore, we have to understand that that's a whole separate conversation that we would need to understand, because oftentimes you do need to push through those hard times to grow through it and continue along your path. But my North Star continues to change as I grow, because I've reached part of my North Star, and I want more, and I want different things based on who I am now. So once you define what success is, then you find your North Star and you reverse engineer that to figure out what are those steps you need to take to get there. Then it comes down to just like, cutting out all of the noise around you so that you can actually get to that place, because everybody in your life is going to have an opinion. And depending on who you're around is either going to push you there or it's going to sink you. So quieting the noise around you is really important. As you've discovered what your North Star is, you're moving towards it because you've already defined what success is for you. Now you cut out that noise, and it's actually going to make you super lean in your journey to allow you to get to that point. And the advice that you do want to take is from the people that have what you want, not people that are just spouting their insecurities at you or their fears. I remember when I was decided I wanted to move to LA, one of our cousins had said to me, "No, you don't want to go to LA. You don't, like, I'll get a job with me at this company and start and build a family." And that's what he wanted. And it's not necessarily that he thought I would fail. He just thought that this is what he knows and this is what he wants, and that it should be good enough for me too. But I was a different person, and I needed to go on my own journey and chisel myself into the version of myself that I wanted to be. And I'm glad that I was able to quiet that noise. No disrespect. And now he's super supportive of everything that I do. So it's like, find out what you want, find your North Star, cut out the noise, and then you can actually get there. But what we want to talk about today is, how do you actually get there? What are those steps? And what do these careers look like? What does it take to get there? So, anything come to mind
Yeah, I
before I
think
start drilling you with questions, Al?
something that is just really tough about the beauty industry, especially, but I think just life in general, is because we have the internet available to us. So we see so many people's version of success, so many people's version of happiness. We also see a really fake reality.
Hmm.
Like everyone has this fake reality that they're posting. And so our opinions get swayed, or our hopes and dreams gets swayed all these different directions based off of what we think people have. Like I cannot, I wish I could just scream that right now. Like it is so scary the way that people are so overly influenced by what they see people doing on the internet. And then you get, especially this time of year, like people talking about their truths of 2025, and you're like learning like, oh, it wasn't that easy. Like, or maybe they're not exposing the truth, and you just continue to think that you want what they have because they're only posting their highlight reel. And it's so scary. So it's really like knowing that people are only posting their best days. And maybe they are, if you're influenced by people who are sharing the hard times too, like that's amazing. But a lot of people are just showing a highlight reel. And so don't let yourself be overly influenced by these people. They can serve as an inspiration for sure, but everyone has stuff. And I just saw a post today, and it was a girl actually shared it on my story. Her name's Taylor. Super popular hairstylist on Instagram. I don't remember how many followers she has, but it's a lot. She has a lot of engagement on her page. I mean, she's very well known. And she posted today, and it was like, I'm tired of this false reality about extensions. That was not her exact words, but it was basically about being exhausted of trying to act like having the ability to install hair extensions on someone means that you can do perfect work. And she was basically just totally exposing the truth. Like there will be bead slips, there will be corners coming loose. You will have to come in. I mean, we're installing fake hair that does not did not grow out of your head into your hair, and expecting it to last for weeks and weeks and weeks. So yeah, it is a pain in the butt. And is this worth it to you? Because you're gonna have to come back in and get things fixed and adjusted and tightened and all of the things. Just totally expose the truth about hair extensions. And it was so good. I mean, I shared it on my story, and I said, this is what's going to grow your clientele, everybody. Like exposing the truth, like the raw, cold, hard truth about this industry and what is reality and what is just what we're just pretending is the truth, are two totally different things. This is what's going to grow your clientele. Not posting perfect hair photos, not posting flawless before and after transformations to show how perfect you can do hair. It's not about that. It's about knowing the truth, being okay with being honest and saying, that didn't really go as planned, whether it's extensions or color or a toner, whatever. Being okay with exposing the truth about our industry,
Hmm.
and being confident enough to say that didn't go as planned, or for whatever reason that needs to be adjusted. And that's what gets you clients. That's what gets you dream clients who trust you and know that you're going to take care of them no matter what. You're always going to give them your absolute best. And if something needs to be adjusted, you'll do that, no problem. But then you have the other side of our industry where it's a bunch of people just trying to pretend they're perfect. They're very defensive when clients have, a bead slip or a corner come loose or a toner go wrong. They get very defensive because they're not confident about their work. And so I really loved that she posted that. And I think our industry needs a lot more of that, so that when we're getting influenced by people who are doing well in our industry, we also realize like they have struggles too. They have hard clients. They have no shows. They have slow weeks. They have all the things. No one's perfect.
Yeah, I love that. I was just writing down, creating a facade on social media is never the way to go. It's not true. And the highlight reel that has been created over the last 15 years on social media, it really shows you the current psychology of like us humans and why we do it, right? Initially, you get this thing, you're like, okay, let me just show all my good stuff because I want to show my bad stuff. And then as we continue to evolve, we see, oh, wait, that's not to do it, because we see time and time again so many people that are seemingly happy on social media that it's suicide or something. Like, you, how much more apparent does it have to be than to see one person kill themselves and their whole social media wasn't showing that, to show you that this is a facade, like there's so like
Mhm.
it's not real, this whole highlight reel is not real, there is another element to it. And I would go even further to say that once you are willing to share your shit too on social media, the things that you're going through, and keeping it real with people, that is the moment that you truly become yourself. And that is the moment where you are actually now a leader and deserve people to follow you. But if you're not
It's
willing
so
to
true.
share the trash, like when I was like, and it, listen, and it comes down to when you want to share it, you don't always have to share it, right? It's not like it just happened. I need to share everything. Everybody needs to know what's going on. But once you get okay with your truthfulness, I'm telling you, it really, it opened up my whole world, because now you're willing to say, I'm not perfect. I have much better conversations. People relate to me so much more in real life, because I'm like, yeah, I did this, and yeah, I can't believe I did that, but I overcame it by doing X, Y, and Z. And they're like, wow, no, that happened to me too. It's like, yeah, because we're stupid, man. We do stupid shit, and life's hard, and we're growing. And if you're able to document that and share that with people, it's going to make everyone else understand that they're not alone in their journey as well. And so yeah, there's a way to position yourself on social media to show that you're really great at what you do, but also the truthfulness. And maybe you don't need to, you know, trauma dump on the internet. Like, you don't have to, like, it doesn't have to be that. You find your blend of it, but that's when you become a real person on social media, and that's when it's really, I think that's really important.
Another post that I came across this morning, and I think I'm going to use it as inspiration for a end of the year post, was by a girl named Lisa. I'll share it on my story later today. But she posted like the highs and lows. So it was like this happened, but also this happened. So each you swipe through the carousel, and everything was like, I cut down my days behind the chair, so I worked less, but I was able to spend more time with, people or her animal or whatever it was. And then it was like I stepped away from this, but I grew this. So I think she had like gotten rid of her salon suite and started a new venture. And it was just like, it was really cool because it was like this happened, which was not good, but this happened, which was really great too. And they were, because of each other. It was really, really cool. So that's like something that I love to see, because there were so many things that changed for me this year that sucked, and so many amazing things and opportunities that I got to do while I was going through the suck. So it's like, I love that. I think it's going to be some really good inspiration for me to do for this year. I just have to decide how much truth I'm going to share, because like you said, a lot of times it's like, you don't have to share it all right then. Right. So when I'm going through things, I'm not going to trauma dump it on the internet. Like, it doesn't look good. Certain situations you shouldn't share while you're going through them, like especially with my business. But now that I'm on the other side of it, and of course with the coaching business and things like that, it's so much of what I teach comes from experience. So it feels like the right time to start sharing different hard times that I went through this year, because I was able to make it out like happily, I was able to make it out alive. I was able to make it out like thriving. My business is growing again, and everybody's happy, and I've met some really amazing new team members, all because something terrible happened. So
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
yeah.
Yeah, timing is everything. And yeah, like when I started Mastermind Media and I was living out of my car, I didn't, I didn't want to say that I was living out of my car, so that when I show up to my client's house, they're like, "Hey, you brought
Do you
your
want to spend the
home."
night?
Yeah, yeah. So like very few people knew, but but because I was aligned and happy and I did what I needed to do, and now I can share that, and I
For the
share that
record,
so
I didn't know
often.
Mark was living out of his car, or I would have been there.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. But yeah, Jai. Now, when I'm speaking and in front of people, like, hey, maybe like when I went to go speak at colleges last year, like my first
Maybe leave
college.
the car.
Yeah, she was like, hey, maybe you just, don't share the part where you lived in your
Maybe
car.
you
I was
say
like,
it was a camper. Maybe say it
yeah.
was a camper. Like,
Well,
let's
and
upgrade the story a little.
so when I went and spoke at the college, I was, of course, still saying, and then I told them that she didn't want me to tell it, so it just became an even better story. Um, but yeah, timing, timing, timing. Be truthful, and once you own that, man, can amazing things happen and will happen. So that's I love that we were jam on that for like the last 25 minutes. And now as we understand that, I think that is the necessary foundation for your career and the necessary relationship to social media to allow you to build. And we're not talking about like, hey, what am I going to grow fastest on? How do I grow fastest on social media? That will come. But if you're able to do it in a way that you're truthful and honest, then you will actually enjoy the experience. Then you will be able to be who you're supposed to be on the internet and off of the internet. And people will see that, wow, this is like a real person that I can trust, that I want to come spend $400 and sit in the chair for 3 hours. This is somebody that I want to refer people to. So that's the alignment that we're talking about. And once we're aligned and we're dedicated to moving forward and we have the right mentality, the right mindset, then you can get to where you want to go and you can get there happily, which is the point. That's the point in all this. The money will come. So yeah. So now that we have that aligned, now I want to talk. I want to talk about, and maybe we narrow this down to like a few things, but I want to talk about how and what were the steps that transformed your career to really elevate your career as a beauty professional, that allowed you to be visible so that somebody would call you from somewhere you met, to book you to do Leanne Rhymes hair, or that to meet the owners of brands that then want to work with you and trust you and know that you're really great at what you do. And now speaking to people all within the beauty industry, like, how do you take the steps to get to where you want to go to elevate your career? So if we go way back to the point where maybe the last year before you started taking your numbers seriously, is there a big shift that you can identify right there?
Yeah. So I've always had mentors. I've always had mentors in the industry. I've always had people I looked up to, but that shifted and grew. And I think that the more I grew, the more I realized that the people that I need to look up to are people who can achieve way beyond what I can or what I think I can, because it helps you believe in yourself. So I think it's important to have mentors that you look so far up to. It's great to have people in your circle and in your salons or in your Instagram community that are at the same level as you, or maybe they're a little bit more booked than you, or a little busier, a little more popular, whatever. That's okay. But look beyond that. If you really are trying to maximize and elevate your career, you need to look so far beyond that and connect with people that are in rooms that you never would have thought you could get into, because you can. So before I really pivoted, I would say, into like a way more, I guess you could say, more serious role, like a role in the business that I took seriously myself, but also other people took me seriously as well. It was the moment I went from being just a hairstylist, and I say I literally thought I was just a hairstylist, to that I was the leader of the salon. I was the co-founder. I owned my role as, this is my business and everyone in it, should be inspired by me and feel that they can come to me. And as I hired people, I needed to take myself seriously and also show up as that every day.
Hmm.
So the moment that I first, I would say, started taking myself seriously and didn't look at myself as just a hairstylist was when I started hiring people, because the last thing I wanted to be looked at in their eyes was just another hairstylist. I wanted to be looked at as the leader of the salon. I wanted them to take me seriously. I wanted them to listen to my guidance and the rules I was setting for the salon. I mean, we were growing our business from pretty much nothing. So we had chair runners before that, and they
Yeah.
were out of the salon by then. So as we started hiring commission employees, like, I needed to build a team. I needed them to take me seriously. So that was kind of the moment that I started realizing I need people to look up to other than just my like peers that I've been doing hair with or that I went to cosmetology school with. And then that probably stayed pretty still for the next few years after that. So, we're in 2025. So I would say this is about like 2015, like around there, and probably until 2000, I don't know. I had to think about what year we opened our second location. Yeah, probably until about 2019. I had that mindset of like, I'm the leader of the salon and I need to show up as my best self every day. My problems were left at the door. And I was Allison, the salon owner, when I was at work. And then we opened our second location and it was a whole new level of responsibility. I was cutting down my hours behind the chair so that I could be Allison, the owner, Allison, the leader, Allison, I needed to be the person that people would come to, not just in one business now, but now two. And that was a whole game changer. I mean, nobody can really prepare for that. Like if you've never have two salons, you have no idea what it's going to take. And of course I have support. I mean, I have a leadership team and all of that, but all of a sudden I was needed all the time.
Mhm.
I thought it was a demanding role before with one business and 18 stylists in it. But once we split 18 stylists among two different businesses, it was like, holy crap, I am needed all the time. And not only just by our team, but now clients as well at two different locations. And we grew quickly from there. And so that was just on a whole nother level of responsibility. And not only that, but on top of that, I was wanting to pivot my career. So I really had to look up to people who had salons and and ran businesses, but didn't do hair. Like I can't just keep looking. I need to find people who have what I want and
Yeah.
learn from
One
them.
question. So when you finally became, the person you wanted to be and became vocal about it, right? This terminology, imposter syndrome, gets thrown around all the time now. And what I don't like about the term imposter syndrome is a lot of people are hanging their hat on it. They're kind of just like, well, I'm just, it's imposter syndrome, and everybody else is making me feel that I'm not who I say I am. So, and it's daunting, and I can't get through it. Like I get it's a real thing. Um, but it's also like it's very similar when I started becoming a screenwriter. I hadn't sold anything, but I had to eventually stand up and say, "No, I'm a writer. I am a writer." And then I started, and I think it's Andrew Hermosi who says this: is outwork your self doubt, and that is a huge part of it. Eventually, you do own it more, but the journey to owning it more is a whole, like it comes in waves and it's different every single day, but you can't let that drown you out and blame everybody else and become a victim, and it's imposter syndrome and I can't get over my imposter syndrome. It's like, well, today, well, I did this and this and this. What? So you didn't work 15 hours, you didn't work even 8 hours, or you didn't read more, you didn't learn more, you didn't do more. The more you do that, the more you can define who you are and be comfortable with what you define yourself as. And then eventually, maybe there will be, I don't even think like a moment that clicks that you're finally like, I'm a writer. I still, in the back of my head, I'm like, I've sold pieces, I've written 10 scripts, and I've really I feel like I'm great at what I do, and still feels weird that I say I'm a writer because it wasn't the first thing that I said I was going to do. So,
Hmm.
so, uh, so the psychology of it all is very, it's a unique and nuanced type of thing. But how was there a moment for you that it flipped, or what was that journey to the point where then you were finally able to say, "This is who I am, and this is what I do."
I think that when I finally stopped doing hair, like I had slowed
Mm,
down and then I went back to it for, personal reasons, not for any other reason,
yeah.
but personal things and the demand in the salon. And so I had slowed down and then I went back into the business doing hair because we needed to. And then I my goal was to get out of doing hair again and just run the businesses. And once I did that, it switched because I now took myself even more seriously. And I didn't have hair to fall back on as an income because that was my bread and butter. So I mean, like I had no choice, I feel like, but it switched for me when my mentors became the executives of the industry. And they believed in me so much that I was like, wow, like putting myself, I said yes to every opportunity. I actually made a TikTok on this. I'm going to post it, I don't know, later on this week. But there were three events that I went to that completely changed my career. It completely changed my imposter syndrome. It changed everything for me. The first was a dinner I should not have went to because I was sick. The second was a event I went, that one was out of state. The second was an out of state event that I went to that I almost didn't go on because the girl that I was supposed to go with didn't want to go the day that I wanted to go, and then she couldn't commit. So I booked a flight and went alone. And the third was really, oh, I guess the third was Budapest this year, going to the Kevin Murphy show, which was a whole nother level of opportunities that we opened the door with going there. But those first two things, those were pivotal moments of my success, not only because I said yes to going into a room that I thought I was just going to hang out with some people and leave and probably never see them again. It opened a whole new door for me, mentors, um, people to work with, people that thought I was great and wanted my opinion on things. I mean, that really helps you grow. I mean, it fuels you up for people to look to you for advice and look to you for partnerships and things like that. And that wouldn't have happened if I didn't go to the events. It wouldn't have happened if I didn't go to the dinner, you know. And that's where I met a hairstylist from Chicago, a salon owner from Chicago, who invited me to do Leanne Rhymes hair. She didn't invite me. She referred me to do Leanne Rhymes hair when she was traveling to Detroit. She was like, hey, you know, I hadn't talked to her since in probably 2 years. And she was like, hey, are you available? I'm going to give your number to Leanne Rhymes, her manager or whatever. And that would have never happened if I didn't go to the things. Those huge pivotal moments in your career don't happen unless you go go to things, meet people, go to events, network. Like the word network has meant so much to me since that dinner I went to. And I had been to events before. I'd been to hair shows. Went to the Chicago shows and all kinds of events over the years. But saying yes to things that I was like, why am I invited here? Or like, will this be weird? Like, should I go alone? Like all those things, the voice in my head that was like, no, don't go alone. That's kind of weird. Like, who are you going to hang out with? All that little voice in my head. Once I quieted that and went to all the things and said yes, man, like it's insane the amount of growth and experience I now have just in the last 3 years of totally growing. And it wasn't everything happened very organically and naturally, but I have seen things happen in my career that I never would have thought was possible. And it's all because I networked.
Yeah. Yeah, go to the things. That's where stuff happens.
Yeah.
Because like obviously using the internet and you can do things, you can form collaborations and that's a whole other level as well. It's a necessary component to it all. But those things that might be a little scary or that come about like that was actually Sundance for me when Paris, Allison's husband, and I and our other business partner at the time, we had done a short film. We won a contest in Detroit that sent us to Sundance. We didn't know anything about it, but luckily we had some connections out there of people that were also going that took us under their wing. Next thing you know, we're on the dance floor with investors and producers and actors and making the most incredible relationships based on what Sundance Film Festival is. And from
Insert
there,
Mark dancing on the dance floor.
yeah. Well, you got to become visible. But also, I wasn't the best always, just speaking to everybody, right? So that's another level of it. Allison was able to go alone or bring a friend, and then she's good at initiating conversation. Let's say she wasn't, and I am sometimes. It just depends. But if you aren't, then bring someone that is, right? You got to be mindful and strategic about when you do go to events. How do I talk to the most amount of people? So we didn't design this going into Sundance. We got kind of lucky because we had been putting in the work for a long time. I brought a certain component, Paris did and Dre did, and now we're on the dance floor dancing with investors and producers, and they need projects. That's why they're there, and we have projects. So we were also prepared when we were there. So we had pitch decks to represent the projects that we had already written or in the process of writing that we knew were high return on investment. So what does that look like in the beauty industry? So maybe you're expanding your salon, or maybe you have a unique idea, or you just want to build your brand relationship to be able to do cooler stuff in the future. So you want to go there, you want to be strategic to ensure that you can maximize the situation and speak to as many people as possible, whether that means you got to maybe drink a glass of champagne and
I
get
was
out there
literally,
and do your thing.
my next thing I was going to say was, if you're not good at initiating conversation, order champagne.
Yeah, yeah.
I maybe keep that off the record, but order
Just not too
champagne,
many. Just a glass of champagne.
just one
Yeah.
bottle. I mean, glass.
And then go out there and be yourself. So
Yeah.
if you have aligned yourself with your North Star, you've defined this type of success that you want. You're quieting the noise. And now you are saying you are who you say you are, if that makes sense, right? You're out there and you're saying this is who I am. And you're going to these events. Now you're saying yes to the events. Now you're having conversations as yourself. Because on social media, you're yourself. In your life, you're yourself. And you're confident with who you are, the things that have happened to you, what you've overcome, and where you want to go in the future. And now you're going to these events and you're able to be your truthful self. And that's going to allow you to have these amazing conversations with people that can help you get to where you want to go even further and open these doors. And they will trust you too, because you are who you say you are. You work your ass off to make things happen. And you don't sugarcoat things, or you don't not everything is fluffy highlight reel. You have that side of you, but you also show your honest, truthful side about when things go wrong and how you overcome that. I start every big pitch meeting with the invention that I did, that I sold everything I owned, that I went in for a year, got to the point of raising the money, and then the invention became obsolete, so I lost everything. And I was living in my car. I start every single pitch off that way, because now you know who the fuck I am. You know that I am willing to go all in and bet on myself and lose everything, smile in the face of danger, overcome it, and build the next thing even bigger. That's who I am. And if
Yeah.
you want to be around that kind of person, I don't know who, I don't want to be around you. Right. So if you can get to that point, then everything changes. Because so another thing, so now you're going to the events, you are who you say you are, you're meeting people in your life that now could potentially take you to other places, right, that you can work with. Find a story in your life that defines who you are in this moment. Who are you? That was my invention that turned me from Mark the waiter, that then went all in on this invention that lost everything. And I tell the story. People love stories. Why do you think the TV and film industry is so huge? People love stories. If you can take them on a story that defines who you are and take them all the way up and then all the way down and then all the way up even higher again, then they're like, I like this person. I can trust this person. And I'll throw this to you in a second. The last thing I would say is, in the entrepreneurship world or in business, people bet on the jockey, not the horse. So it's not, they're not betting on your business. They're betting on the person running the business, because the jockey is the one that actually helps it get to where it needs to go. So they bet on the jockey, not the horse. You want to become the jockey, the person that can overcome everything to build the career of your dreams, because then they're going to benefit too, or at least they want to be around people like that.
Yeah, a lot of my growth has, and when I say growth, I mean a lot of my sales,
Mm-hmm.
selling out even our virtual classes, or gaining new clients, or getting the one-on-one calls. All of those things came from when I started sharing my story, and my story was not full of success. I really had to share those moments that were hard and where I felt like I was going to fail too. So, there was so many times where I was not super hopeful about what I was going through, or I felt like everything was going to fall apart and fail. And there will be more times in the future where I'm, feeling stuck or feeling defeated. And what's in me is, I know I will always push through. If I need to take a break, if I need to take a step back, if I need a moment, right? If I need a day, whatever, that's fine. I'm human, but I always know I'm going to pull through. And a lot of that has to do with who I've surrounded myself with. And a lot of who I surround myself with is people that I, met when I was uncomfortable. Like, when I went to things that were uncomfortable for me. I mean, like, if you told me when I was, at the beginning of my career, that I was going to get on a plane and fly, to Budapest, by myself. Of course, you were going to be at the other end, but like to
That's
take to
almost, we almost both didn't make it.
to travel to another country that doesn't speak the same language as me by myself and have so many setbacks along the way and not totally have a nervous breakdown and turn around and go home. Like if you told me I was going to be able to handle that and then like kill it, like I I would have
Yeah.
said that I can't do that for sure. No, like absolutely not. But something changed in the last 3 years where I said, I want to go places alone that make me feel uncomfortable and meet people who can take me to the next level. And I have reached out to so many people on the internet that I never would have really reached out to, not because I didn't think they wanted to hear from me, but because like I would have been like, for what, you know? But now I see the huge benefits of building real relationships through social media, not just, small talk, but actually getting to know people that don't live in the same city as me, don't live, not even in the same country as me, and meeting people from all over the world. It's insane. And I was operating, I mean, as you know, I suffered from migraines for years. So I was operating at like 5%. Like
Yeah.
I have no idea how I pushed through, but once I was able to push through all of that and then eventually heal my body and grow my business and all, I mean, it just really fueled, I think, my confidence is what it came down to. I always thought I was a confident person. I was never, let's say this, I was never not confident. I've always been a confident person. I always knew I was good at doing hair. Even when I made mistakes, I always knew I could navigate them and fix them. Even when, I had slow days, I knew that I would get busy again. Like I've always been confident. But being confident on the level I am now, it's not small. I know that we are going huge places. I know that I want to connect with so many people and I'll make it happen. It's confidence on a whole new level. And I would have never found that if I did not network.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It's like,
wild.
it's confidence that's built on data now,
Yeah.
right?
And
Initially, you might have some optimism and stuff and know you're good at what you do, but once you've overcome so much, it helps you. That's that confidence on a whole new level.
and surrounding yourself with people who want to see you win.
Yeah.
I mean, like I lost my best friend this year, right? Like I had a relationship completely fall apart. And I also met the most supportive friend I've ever had in my entire life. Like literally booked a flight to Ireland to meet her in person. Like
Yeah.
I met the most supportive person ever. And I had no idea how amazing that was going to be for my life, my career, everything. But it's wild. Like when you surround yourself with women as a woman in this industry, in the beauty industry, if you surround yourself with women who want to see you win, and I'm not talking about the people in your salon, like I'm talking about beyond that. If you don't surround yourself with people who want to see you win, you won't be able to see it for yourself. I want to say, like you might think you're really good at what you do and have a lot of excitement and a lot of dreams and goals, but when you surround yourself with people who are like, you are so badass, you are like, I want this for you, I want to support you. When you surround yourself with people like that, it's wild. Like it's really, really needed in our industry because women can be mean. Like, let's be honest, like women can just be harsh. There's a lot of times there's like some secret narrative and a lot of gossiping and things that goes along in the industry, especially with social media involved. Like it can be really rough, but when you quiet all of that noise and you find the people and they are out there who want to see you win, and that's why I love the community we're building because I want nothing more than to just support people, especially the women of our industry. But I just want to support so many people and make them feel so excited about their career and so supported and so hopeful and be able to reach all of the success that they want to reach. When you support yourself with people like that, your brain will explode with possibilities. You'll feel
Yeah.
like you can achieve anything and you can.
Yeah, if you're not if you're not feeling it like it's a little bit dangerous or a little scary, then you're not pushing yourself forward. And the small town way of thinking is these are my core people. I'm just going to do this like and that's okay for some people, but if you want more, you need to expand. And the internet is there for your taking. Social media is there to help you build those relationships. And that's one thing that I love too, that both of us now being almost 20 years in the game, it's like we understand that, and we understand that there's the more you grow, the more opportunities and like chess pieces you can use to then figure out how to get to another place or how to find the travel. I could never imagine spending a couple $1,000s on a plane ticket. That's a lot of money. How do I figure that out? And then, but the more you grow, you transition your mind into a new way of thinking, and then your price goes up. And that's what meeting these other people in different parts of the world and different parts of the business. You never know what ideas. I know you got great ideas too. Like when I say you, meaning everyone has these great ideas and these things that they want to do, but it's also very difficult because it's very difficult. How am I ever going to get there? I remember the having working at a go-kart place that Elsa and I used to work at, and I had an idea. I actually still have the idea. I'm still going to do the commercial. I had this idea for a commercial, and I was like, okay, well, who do I pitch it to? Didn't even think I was going to move to LA at the time, but I just started calling places, like thinking, how can I pitch it to? I didn't know the game. But now, 20 years later, I still have this brilliant idea that I had when I was like 16 years old. Now I have the people. Now I know how to pitch it. And that's, I would love to pitch this commercial for next year to be able to execute that. But small town way of thinking, I'll have this idea and then nothing will ever happen with it. But now you can make it yourself. You can pitch it to a bigger organization. You can, apply the different connections that you have. But if you stay in your core group that you have right now and you're not elevating yourself, you're just staying within the confinement of that group, you're not going to see the other opportunities. And it's hard to think that way without having these experiences and risking a little bit, sacrificing a little, figuring it out. So
Yeah, I think one of the things that I feel that people that are new in the industry need to hear, or I should say not new, but anyone who isn't going to the things. Think about the class that you went to that you were like, oh, I'll go to this class, whatever. You go to the class and you know what you're going to learn, right? You know you're signing up for a balayage class, you're going to learn balayage, and you're sitting there and there's this really great educator and you leave there learning so much more than balayage, right? Maybe this person gave you a lot of motivation. Maybe they told a story about hard clients that they've dealt with. Maybe they opened a salon and you want to open a salon and they gave you some ideas for that, whatever it is, but you got more than you thought you were going to get. You were signing up for a balayage class, but you left with so much more. And not only that, but maybe you met a couple of people in the class, you exchange Instagram handles, maybe you stay in contact with the educator. Think about those moments in your career and then amplify that. That is what networking and going to the events that you're missing out on, that's what that's all about. You go because you think, oh, I'm going to go to, celebrate whatever the brand is throwing, right? Maybe you're going to a brand event and they're doing a fashion show. I'm going to go to this fashion show. Okay, cool. But then you meet so many people there who just open your mind to a whole new way of thinking, or just a whole new way of showing up in your career. And you meet educators, you meet brand reps, and maybe you meet the owners of the brand. You never know who you're going to meet and where they can take you, mentally or literally. But think about that. I mean, it's like so many people's idea of success in this industry is getting busy behind the chair. So they think, I'm going to, post on all these social groups. I'm going to DM people on Instagram. I'm going to post my openings on my social media. Like, this is as big as we're thinking, right? I'm going to post myself and self promote and hope that my books will fill up. And then we just wait. And it's like, that is small town thinking. Your books will fill up when you think beyond that, when you think way beyond that, because people sense confidence. They also sense desperation. So if maybe you actually aren't desperate, maybe you are happy and you feel like you are growing pretty steadily and you're in your second year of doing hair, you're pretty busy, right? Maybe you are growing steady, but you're, posting your openings every day and you're posting the backs of people's heads, like, look at my work, look at my work, look at my work, buy this from me, come book with me, come do this. And then you're posting in all these Facebook groups. Not to say that's bad. I mean, definitely self-promote, definitely post your work. But when that's all you're doing, I feel that that's small town thinking. But when you develop confidence on another level, when you invest in yourself, whether you're going to events that cost you a lot of money, or maybe you're booking a plane ticket and going to a free event, whatever it is, if you're investing in yourself and documenting your journey, that's what's going to get you booked. That's what's going to get your confidence up so high that people are going to, what do they say? Don't chase, attract. Like, you're not chasing it, you're attracting it. You're showing up like, I'm a badass. I go to these things. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm confident, and I would love to see you in my chair. That's what's going to grow you. Not the, hey, I do hair, come book with me. Hey, I have an opening, come book with me. Click the link in bio. Like, no, that's not it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your success or your filling your books it becomes a byproduct of the alignment
Yes.
and mindset shift that you do.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, it makes so much sense, and yeah, that's why I'm so excited that we're building this journey as well. We're building this community to go through this journey together, to illuminate new opportunities, to bring people together. My acting manager, I love. She's so good at networking. Like, when I'm with something, I'm like networking on my own. But then she'll be like, "Hey, meet this person." Just introducing me. Right? Like, how many people can you meet at this event? How many Instagrams can you get? How many cards can you get? That's what your goal has to be when you go to these events, because you never know who you're going to meet. I just joined a networking group. I pay $200 a month to be a part of a networking group that has almost 300 business professionals. And now it's, how do I maximize that opportunity? And you're going to meet people that you never met. And you never know when that one thing, think about it like your relationships. What if you wouldn't have gone to the bar that night, or gone to that birthday party or whatever, and met the person that you end up spending the rest of your life with? That's the same thing with business. Meet
Yeah,
those
it really
people.
is.
Meet those people that you know where that lane can take you, because the lane doesn't exist unless you go and you say yes. So we got about 3 minutes left, Allison. Any other final thoughts? I know we've covered a lot of mindset shifts, a lot of business shifts, a lot of really owning who we are and what we do, and going to the events. You have a caveat?
Yeah. I think that really, I just want to say, like, if you're watching this and this resonates with you and you're like, mind is opened up and you're like, what can I get to? What can I go to? Come to our event in Utah. It's February 3rd.
Yeah.
Come meet the people. I promise the people you want to meet will be there.
Yeah, and maybe we can do a good job of, like, in the future, like, obviously the events that we're putting on, but we can maybe have like a list of like all of the other brand events that we have. Maybe we have like a running list.
Yeah, I was thinking
That they
about
can
putting
do.
something together like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, amazing. But yeah, I feel good. I feel like I'm ready to go take take on the day.
I feel like I want to go to an event now. I'm like, should we go back to Budapest?
We will be back. We will be back. We have the tattoos to prove it.
Yes, we do.
I can't see
Wait.
it. There it is.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, this has been amazing. Hopefully you all, I know you've found the value in this one, aligning your life for success and really elevating your career as a beauty professional. Follow us on all socials: Mastermind Beauty, Allison Bellavie, Mark Rodriguez TV. And yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you next Monday.
Yep. And then we'll see you February 3rd, Salt Lake City, at the Kevin Murphy headquarters.
Yes.
All right, y'all.
Bye.
Peace.